So, gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking with CNBC TV18. Bikram, I want to start with you. Tell us, what is the situation as far as online delivery is concerned? Are you getting increased orders at the moment? We understand that there are a lot of problems in terms of deliveries, etc. But now, have you been able to solve all of those issues and smoothen deliveries?
Yes, we have. So let me start by saying that, firstly, thanks for having us. But let me start by saying that, yes, due to the lockdown, there were certain disruptions. Because of which, we've had a large backlog of orders created. There has been a huge surge in demand where customers have reached out to us to try and buy essentials, food, groceries for themselves. But over the last couple of days, we've been working very closely with the district administrations as well as the state governments and the central government to try and regularize the situation. And now we're back up in all cities. We've started deliveries, so very soon we'll clear out our backlogs.
Okay, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Well, I first wanted to ask you, Bikram, you all are hiring?
Yes, absolutely. I think, we're one of the fortunate industries that is getting the chance to serve the nation by delivering food, groceries, and other essentials to consumers, which gives us the ability to actually hire. So, yes, we are hiring. We've actually hired about 2,500 people to get over the crisis, additional people. And what we are also doing is we're bringing in these people from affiliated industries, from partner companies, from other industries where, at this point in time, unfortunately, they have to shut down and they're not being able to use their workers. So yes, we are hiring and we are actively trying to bring in and skill the staff.
Okay, that was the one big reason why we wanted to speak to you at a time like this when people are worried about livelihood. It's good to hear that someone is hiring. Okay, let me get Arvind Mediratta also into the conversation. Arvind, how's life at Metro? Have your supplies been getting replenished?
Yes, good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to this panel. I would like to say as a company, we have two priorities. First is to make sure that our stores are safe for all our customers and also for our employees. And being a German company, we were slightly ahead of the curve because we had learnings from the European markets where this pandemic has hit them really hard. So we have implemented almost 30 safety measures in all our stores for the benefit of our customers and also equally importantly, our employees. The second thing has been to make sure that all the citizens of this country, at least the people that we can serve, have access to essential food and grocery. So we have been working proactively even before the lockdown was imposed with all our supply partners to ensure that we have enough stock of all the essential food and grocery products.
No, Arvind, if I'll interrupt you, the reason why I'm asking you is that a lot of FMCG makers, or at least some of them, have told our reporters that they have manufacturing problems. For instance, packaging was not recognized as essential. So, there was a logistical issue over there in terms of getting some of the stuff. So that's why I'm asking you, if it is getting replenished, people will be taking from you for sure. But are your suppliers able to replenish as regularly as they were doing before, or even at an accelerated pace, or do you fear some shortages from some suppliers?
We do expect that there might be some shortages in the weeks ahead. I'll give you some data on this to talk about what I'm saying. So right now we buy stuff from almost all the FMCG companies, but if I look at the top 25 suppliers, we pick up stuff from almost 600 warehouses. Now, last week, only 150 warehouses of these FMCG suppliers were in a position to supply to us. This week, the situation has got only slightly better. So from 150, the number has jumped up to something like 180 warehouses. So the situation is not very good. And we do expect outages in some of the critical FMCG products in the next few days and in the next few weeks. In fact, yesterday, there was a meeting called by the Union Minister of Food Processing, Mrs. Badal, with all the FMCG companies, and I was also there in the meeting, where we have raised these issues and they are basically making sure that the FMCG companies can restart their production, and they also have ample supply of packaging products. So I hope that situation will get better, though I expect shortages in the next few days and maybe next couple of weeks.
Okay, expect shortages in the next few days and next couple of weeks. That's a very important statement, and important that you point that out. Bikram, what about you? Are you facing any shortages from suppliers due to restriction of movement from warehouses and the production lockdown that we're currently undergoing?
Well, initially there were, restrictions for the first couple of days because of the disruption, which was expected. Like, I've said before on a couple of shows, we are in unprecedented times. And, the first priority was the lockdown. And after that, the authorities are now opening up various parts of the economy. So for the first couple of days, yes. After that, things have smoothened down. I do want to add that at Grofers, we do, while we work with all the large manufacturers, we also have our own private label, which is about 40% of our overall sales. So we're working with about 150 manufacturers, and we've amped up that side of the business, and we are working judiciously to try and see how we get that produced onto the shelves very quickly. So from our perspective, we're trying to make sure there is no disruption in supplies, and we're trying to make sure that we can get the goods and the essentials out to consumers in the most efficient way.
Okay, well, we hope that happens for the benefit of, the larger interest of the nation. Arvind, how many of your 27 stores have you kept open at the moment? And have you widened your customer base? Because your core customers were small businesses. Have you increased that to retail customers as well?
That's a very good question. So as we speak, except for one store in Indore, all our 26 other stores are operational. In Indore, the entire city was locked down. All the shops, all the establishments have been closed for a period of 3 days by the Municipal Commissioner of Indore. But other stores are opening and ready to take care of our customers. Here, I also want to point out that in India, 90% of the food and grocery business is still happening through the kiranas. So for us, our biggest priority is to make sure the kiranas have enough stock so that they can cater to the households in their neighborhood. And we are doing both delivery to the kirana customers who cannot come to our stores to shop, as well as make sure that they can if they are coming to the store, they can shop in quickly, they can place the order in advance, and then when they come to the store, they just have to make the payment and they can quickly go back to their kirana stores. One of the challenges that we are facing is that in a few cities in the country, as part of the lockdown, even the kirana stores were shut down. So we have been making appeal to the state governments and the city administration to make sure that kirana stores are allowed to open. If you look at the notification from the Ministry of Home Affairs, all food stores are allowed to open for 24/7. But in many cities across the country, the city administration has taken a call and shut down these stores or allow them to operate only for a few hours. So many of them have to shut down by 1 p.m. Now, if that happens, it leads to overcrowding at these kirana stores, and therefore it becomes sometimes a challenge for them to maintain social distancing. So again, yesterday we had a meeting with the ministry, and we have assured them that we will give them a kit which will include a face mask, a hand sanitizer, and other cleaning products, so that they can also implement the social distancing in their kirana stores that all the bigger chains are implementing.
Okay.
So I want to appeal through a channel to all the authorities that let's make sure the kirana stores are not harassed and they are allowed to remain open.
Yeah,
because they play a very important
got it, Arvind. Got it, Arvind. We are running out of time, so I want to ask two quick questions, the same one to both of you. Arvind, have you seen an increase in consumption because people are hoarding? Or have you seen a fall in some areas because people are hard up for cash?
We saw a big jump in consumption, almost 70-80% jump before the Janata curfew. Last 7-8 days have been a bit tough because as we speak, while 26 stores are operational, many of the stores are operating under a lot of restrictions. So the store operating hours have been curtailed. The other thing I must point out is that all the companies, all retailers, wholesalers, e-commerce companies are experiencing major staff shortage.
Okay.
The attendance had been almost 15%, it's gone up to 40%, but still it's not.
Yeah, we got that. No, actually, I want you all to be brief because we don't have much time. Bikram, same thing to you. More or less consumption?
We're seeing a huge jump in consumption every day. In fact, customers, we're trying to educate them that do not hoard. Supplies are available. With us as well as with the manufacturer. So please do not hoard. Please manage and plan your supplies. So we've been educating the customers, but yes, we've been seeing a huge jump in consumption simply because availability is way greater with the online stores at this point in time.
Okay, well, I had to put in that question because a lot of viewers are only wanting to know whether consumption is good. That makes a big difference to a stock investor. Thank you very much, Arvind and Bikram, for joining us and giving us an idea of how supplies are coming into the market. Yes.